New shoot-'em-up action on the ZX Spectrum. This is Quadron, a game released last year and originally written in 1987 by a guy called Andrew Beale, who programmed a load of games back in the day. You may not have heard of them all. Megapede, Microbot, Millipede, Cytrax, Repulsor and Robon, and worked with the guy who wrote Fairlight, I believe, as well. And I had this contact via the ChinnyVision website, www.ChinnyVision.com, which said, I wonder if you'd be interested in the possible view of the release of my ZX Spectrum arcade game Quadron for your ChinnyVision YouTube channel. The game was due to be released in 1988, but at the last minute the software company pulled out. So I've loaded this in on my ZX Spectrum. I've been given a digital download of this, but you can also buy it from Chronosoft for, I think, about £6 in a boxed package. It is a 48k game, and I'm told that there may be problems on +2As and +3 with this game. And you get some details of the weaponry and various things available to you. And basically, what you have to do is you have to go around the Quadron, which is a series of screens that loops around, trying to stop the bad guys stealing gems that they mine and taking them to an area that makes them more powerful than they come after you. So the aim is to destroy as many of the baddies as you can in a quicker time as possible to go on to the next wave. It's quite difficult to explain. When I first read the instructions, I didn't really understand. Indeed, when I first played the game, I didn't really understand. And then, like you get with some Pickford Brothers games, it kind of clicked. So off we go. You are the robot. And we're going to shoot all these baddies because they're going to be heading towards the four corners of the map. There's various power-ups along the way. Different objects do different things. When it comes to that, there's one of the rocks that the baddies mine, and they take the diamonds/gems out of there, and then they take them to the top or side of the map in order to power themselves up and then come after you. In the state the baddies are in at the moment, they're fairly harmless. They throw off a few little zaps, but one zap from you can kill them. And that one there, these little ships there will try and mine that rock. And there's power-ups available, but you only get the power if it's saying power front ways. If it's power reversed, it takes away power from you. And that's why the portal's through to where the conversion rooms are that the baddies take the gems through to. It's quite difficult to explain, but you'll soon see. I first played this game under emulation. We're running this on a Grey +2 now. Over the bank holiday weekend, I didn't really get it and spent a lot of time wandering around. And initially, although there's lots of zaps and things, it's when you've been around the map a few times, you think you've seen everything, but that's incorrect, right? That's a conversion room. You can't do anything in here, but the baddies can come in here with gems. Press space, and you get this screen here, and you can select which power-ups you use. I've got one gun at the moment, but there's a more powerful laser available. This option there will let me teleport to any corner of the map, which is handy. And you can also see on that screen that we were just on where the baddies are, because remember, you've got to track them down before they start powering up, when instead of taking one zap to kill, they take 10. These little gentlemen on the flying discs appear. Now, you don't need to clear all of them before you finish the level, but they come after you if the game feels you're taking too long and just generally annoy you. And the longer you... Oh, I've died there. The longer you take, the more of them there are. But you don't have to clear all of them. It's best just to run away from them. Right, that one there has been powered up. He's managed to power himself up with a gem and convert it. And you see it's taken many zaps to get rid of him. But I can get rid of him I need to do because basically you've got to kill all the baddies that of a certain type before you go on to level 2. You can only fire with the basic laser left and right, and I've seen some reviewers complain about this, but the point is you get power-ups that let you fire in different directions. You start off with the most basic laser, and there's inertia as well, and when the baddies are more powerful, their zaps can throw you really off course, and it takes about 10 zaps to kill them. There's also a power up that reduces. That's a gem there I've just picked up. You mustn't let the baddies pick those gems up. They mine them and sometimes they drop them. If they pick them up again, they will go to those little bits on the side, blast their way through the lasers, go inside and convert themselves up to being meaner, worse baddies. It's about using that screen you've got access, wave 1 completed, that's all the baddies I need to clear. It's about keeping track of where the baddies are and what you need to do to keep them under control. There's also power-ups that freeze the baddies, give you invulnerability, and so on. And these become available to you through the game. I'm playing on joystick. The default controls I was playing with at the weekend were on keyboard, so I was playing under emulation. And the keyboard controls aren't particularly good. The fire button is just in the wrong place. Your hands are all over the keyboard. Joystick is the recommended control method. There's no way to redefine the keys either, sadly. The original game was written in assembler over the course of 2 years and completed early 1988, but the publisher pulled out at the end of development, and there were also plans for an Amstrad CPC conversion, so perhaps that will come one day now this game is officially released. The elephant in the room, of course, that's a baddie carrying a gem. They carry them very slowly towards, but I've got that, towards the conversion rooms. There we go. I've got a more powerful laser available to me. Shows you where the baddies are, different types. You can press fire on those icons where the bit is there and see who's where. Size of the screen remind me of Sabrewolf with all this wonderful colour. There's no colour clash at all, but it's a very colourful game. And a hint of Alien 8 in the sprite as well, if you look at it, little robot. It's very charming. What I don't know is if this game was intended for full price release or budget release. You'd say by 1988 with the Spectrum market as it was, possibly would have had a bigger market on budget, but more profit perhaps on full price. Who knows? On to level 3. And these baddies are really interesting on level 3 because you blast them and then they release loads of little ships that can fire at you. Crystal there with a power up as well. And now it's run away fast, and try and zap the baddies while they follow you around. Lovely effects when you zap the baddies as well. Shame there's no 128K version. I think people might have, by 1988, been expecting 128K enhancements. A little bit of AY music and beefier sound effects, but the sound effects on the 48K are actually very effective. They're very arcadey. The game was inspired by Williams' arcade machines, and there is certainly that feel about the game. The elephant in the room, of course, is the game does cost money, where many games are released for free these days. And my recommendation is probably that you are better off paying the £6 for the physical release than the £4 for the download, just because, well, you're going to get a tape for £2 in effect, which seems perfectly fair and reasonable. You're actually going to own something physical. I think with 8-bit games, you really do, if you're paying something, want something physical to hold and actually have. Digital downloads, of course, especially if you're using original hardware like here. Unless you've got an SD card reader, which you should have anyway, I suppose, you really want that original tape. What I don't know is if the offer is like with the Futurist 8-bit, where you get, with their games, the physical cassette and you get a digital download code as well. That would be nice, potentially. I've got a power up here. Gives me a shield, but it's running out now. On the status screen, there's also various energy levels for your weapons and things. You have to get crystals to replenish those. So if you use the bigger laser You can only use it for so long, you can have it. But if you don't have enough energy to run it, you go back to the default laser, which uses no energy. Likewise, the various other power-ups available only last for as long as you have the energy. It's quite a strategic game. It takes quite a little while for it to click with you. On the face of it, it just looks like just another shooter, but it's so much more than that. There's a powered-up enemy there. He's going to come after me. Oh, there he is. Oh, I just come out with a flying saucer there because I'm taking too long. Right, I just need to... And that's as far as I can get at the moment. It's taken me a little while to get that far. The game's really clicking with me now, though. So, Quadron, a game that took 30 years to get released. And is it worth it? Well, yes. On the face of it, it looks like just another shoot 'em up. But the graphics are very charming, and once you start digging into it, the gameplay is very different indeed. It does take a little while to click. Hopefully you'll have an easier time with it than I did when I started out, where I found it a little bit frustrating and I couldn't work out really what I was doing despite having the instructions. Basically, it's stop the crystals from getting to the sides and the tops and destroy all the baddies and then use the power-ups. And you also have to resource manage your power-ups as well. It's an awful lot of fun. It's a shame that apparently it doesn't run on the +2A and +3. It's also a shame there's no 128K music. But for a game that claims to be inspired by the Williams arcade machines, I think it's pulled this off very, very well indeed. There's absolutely a hidden depth with it. I've had limited time to review this, but this is a game I'm going to be coming back to because once it sucks you in, I don't think you're going to be getting out in a hurry.